Hello and welcome to the Washington International Horse Show, the 61st Washington International Horse Show, presented this year by Mars Equestrian. We build up throughout the week to the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup qualifier here on Saturday night. But tonight, two great classes for you. We've got the Table C, the $50,000 International Jumper Speed Final. And our second class today for you is the Land Rover Puissance, one of the only indoor Puissance in North America. And it's military night as well. We pay tribute to all of those who serve their nation here in the nation's capital at this Metropolitan Horse Show here this evening, as we build up towards that Land Rover Puissance tonight. During our speed final, we'll be raising money for the TAPS program, as we have done for a number of years here, helping support veterans.
Early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Master Sergeant Caleb Green
national
of
anthem.
the United States Army Band, of course, together with Bob McDonald, one of the primary national anthem singers here throughout the season at the Capital One Arena for the Washington Capitals ice hockey team, of course, the current Stanley Cup champions. And our color guard representing many of the agencies and public safety organizations here in the District of Columbia and beyond in Virginia and Maryland. So we're just a couple of moments away from the first tour. So let's have a look at the start list. So Kat, TYREE and CATUNGEE, they're going to be our first to lead off. Kat, who had a very good first day of the show 12 months ago, and again yesterday with one inside the top 5 in one of our two classes. Laura KRAUT, a podium finisher here in recent years in the World Cup qualifier, will be in earlier on as well. Amanda Derbyshire, leading lady rider of the show in the last few years. Brianne Goutel-Marteau, Savannah JENKINS, Darragh Kenny will be amongst our first in as well. Also visiting us this year at Washington, we've got Jos Verlooy. Jos, who was a winner of the Puissance here a couple of years ago, returns. He had a good day yesterday with a win in our very first class, the Welcome Stakes, the $50,000 class. Andy Coker and Cat Ninja, they run in this class. Andy's going to, I think, be riding in the Puissance later on today as well. It's a small field, just 6 in it, but actually I think we're going to have a very, very good class in that Land Rover Puissance. Andy Coker, yeah, he's going to ride Country Boy. Aaron Vale and Finu are in that Puissance. Devin, Ryan and Cooper, Jordan Coyle, Dundalk, Skylar Riley with Very Chic, Dutillard and Harden Tal and Jolly Jumper. And I know Harden runs Jolly Jumper in this class the Speed Championships as preparation for the Land Rover Puissance. So it's Table C format for the speed final here at Washington, and as we're indoors in a small ring, it will be 3 seconds added for each pole down. Kat Tyree is going to be our first to go here tonight. Kat with Mary Tyree's KATUNGEE. Had a podium with this horse here last year at Washington. Had a top 5 with the horse at the National Horse Show last night. They were 3rd in the accumulator here in the Capital One Arena. Interesting format of class, of course, with the Table C format, because if they have a pole down, they're not necessarily out of the running. Interesting also that he set up his in and out over there on the far side of the ring as a triple bar in, coming out over vertical, straight into one of the tightest turns, the bravest turns on course, back to number 5. She gets inside number 3 there, turning back to 6, dogleg across the arena to 7, and then another roll back here to 8. I don't think it's going to be possible to get inside that clock. Somebody might have a go at it, though. All the way down the ring, he's set a very, very wide square oxer there, the Mars Equestrian fence, at 9. Just has the Land Rover down, so that's going to be 3 seconds added. And over the last, so it is 3 to add. 54.07 on the clock. 57.07 will be the competition time in the Speed Championship for Kat Tyree and KATUNGEE. Let's see a hard rub there coming out of the in and out, and it was a rail down later on, unfortunately. Land Rover fence, if memory serves, for Kat Tyree to give her that competition time of 57.07, including 3 penalty seconds. Laura KRAUT, say we've got 3 riders here who are part of the gold medal winning team at last year's World Championships. Laura is one of them, 8 times a World Cup finalist and an Olympic gold medalist for the USA as well. Laura rides CONFU. CONFU and Laura were runners-up here in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup qualifier of Washington a couple of seasons ago. Standing second to Lauren Huff, if memory serves. Just takes a check and a half halt there before she knifes across that first vertical. Just throws away a little bit of time. It's really difficult at this early stage because we've got such a quality field of horses and riders, particularly fast horses and riders here with us at Washington, to know exactly what it's going to take to win this class. 54 seconds across the ground was Kat Tyree. This looks smoother, and therefore it might be that bit faster. And now Laura's having a bit of a go at this. Gets down to the taps fence, clears that to put a bit of money into the pot. And again, she turns, makes a very, very tight turn, and then dares CONFU up and over that fence. You get an impression there. We've seen that from both directions with the camera angles, just how big that Mars Equestrian fence is. 1 more to go. 54.07. She's slower across the ground than Kat Tyree, but she's going to leave them all up. 56.95. She just goes in front with a clean go. Laura KRAUT and CONFU. Well, another rider from last year's World Championships for Great Britain. Recently returned from representing Great Britain in Europe at the Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup Finals. And she was part of the bronze medal winning British team at the European Championships this year as well. Amanda Derbyshire with the Gotchman Sport Horses Lady Maria BH. And Amanda, I would be surprised if she doesn't lay down a very good time here early in the draw. Laura KRAUT leads 56.95 with a clean go. Kat Tyree was faster, 54.07, but had the rail. Triple bar in, vertical out. The vertical comes down at the in and out. On the Washington Nationals fence, they play here at home tonight in the nation's capital. Part of the World Series. A few games up at the moment over the Houston Astros. Carrying the three. If she can come home 53.95 or better, she'd actually go into the lead. She's not going to quite catch that. So Laura KRAUT going to remain our leader. 56.83 time taken. That will translate to 59.83 for Amanda Derbyshire and Lady Maria. Next up, Zernike K, Brianne Gutel-Marteau. Brianne, twice a World Cup finalist for the United States of America, Nations Cup rider for the US as well, and a career winner of the American Gold Cup. Zernike and Brianne were class winners this year at the Hampton Classic Horse Show. 56.95 is the time to beat. It has been beaten twice. TYREE and Amanda Derbyshire have both been around the course faster than Laura KRAUT, but did so with penalty seconds to add for a rail. Here the Delta vertical. Steps out of the in and out. Brianne just gets Zernike concentrating. Looking at that Washington Nationals fence now. We've seen others go inside on their way to that jump. But Brianne is hoping that just by being maybe a little bit further distance, but being able to keep up the smoothness and the forward nature of her canter, that maybe she can just catch these leading times. Going the right way about a clear at the moment, just one to go. 56.95 to beat. She's going to be well in front. Really nice round, 54.17. But Brianne has left a little bit on the table because there's an inside turn for sure that she didn't take. Going around from 5 to 6, they can turn inside the face of number 3. But Brianne Gutel-Marteau and Zernike K, they are the ones to beat. 54.17 with no penalties. Only Kat TYREE has been faster across the ground by 1/10 of a second. 54.07 was Kat TYREE's time, but she had 3 seconds to add for a rail. A top 10 Grand Prix rider at Tryon this year in North Carolina, and a World Cup rider already this season at Del Mar on the West Coast. Savannah Jenkins, Savannah with QUINTA, a 13-year-old by Quickstar. Yeah, she had a very, very good spot over number 2, the Delta fence, but you could see her all the time just trying to get the horse back and back and back, and ended up being too much adjustment. Now it turned into hit and hurry, and actually has just overfaced the whole thing. It's been overcooked. They turn back to the Washington Nationals fence. They just get away without being adjudged to have lost all forward motion, so they're just on 6 seconds to add. But just slightly the wrong tactical choice. I mean, again, one of our younger, she's under 25, and one of our maybe less experienced international riders in the field here at Washington. But we'll have learned an awful lot about the tactical choices to make in a situation like that going on. 57.03 across the ground. 63.03 will be the recorded time for Savannah Jenkins and Kitana.
Absolutely, pressure goes on inside of these jumps. That host appears in 2019, including getting a big qualification France into Tokyo 2020. He's won Grand Prix here in America.
Darragh Kenny with the Billy Studs, Billy DORITO.
The 9-year-old here, Billy DORITO, he's right up there on the Longines World Rankings. One of the best. It is Ireland's Darragh Kenny.
Couple of riders with us this week in Washington from inside the top 10 of the Longines World Rankings. This is one of them, Darragh Kenny, winner of the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix this summer at Chantilly. And part of the Irish team that won the Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup finals in Barcelona. Rode this horse, Billy DORITO, last night in the accumulator, having been on the podium in the Welcome with Classic Dream. Darragh is just such a naturally fast but very smooth rider, so he's deceptively fast. Again, he goes outside the same way that Brian Goutal did on his way there from 5 to 6. I think he could still get home faster than Brian. He's got 10 seconds from here to ride this final line. 2 jumping efforts, the Land Rover fence. 54.17 to beat. Darragh Kenny to take over the lead here. He's going to be just behind, in fact. 54.65 into second place for Darragh Kenny and Billy DORITO. Well, Jordan Coyle, Jordan and his brother Daniel, having very familiar faces over here on the North American circuit. Both of them World Cup qualifier winners as well. Jordan took his World Cup qualifier win at Leon in Mexico this spring. He was on the Irish Nations Cup team at the Thunderbird Show Park in Langley, British Columbia this summer as well. Jordan with SNR Crixus by Louis-Dam. 54.17 is the target to beat here in our $50,000 speed final. Really leaning on that inside rein and then on his spot, just releasing the horse and going in front of the Washington Nationals fence. Horse knows its job. It was prepared to try and duck inside the clock. Jordan just held him out, carrying the 3 to add. And he is there or thereabouts time-wise. Maybe not quite as fast as Brian, but he's being very brave down here, the final line. It goes 53.17. The time was good, but with 6 to add, it will be 59.17, and we'll go into 5th position.
Another flyer, you can give him a big welcome too. It is Cormac HANLEY.
Well, an international winner on both sides of the Atlantic this year. His home Nations Cup show in Dublin and across the United States. Jumped double clear for his country in the Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup of Canada this year in British Columbia. Cormac HANLEY with Heathman Farms COPAIN Z. Both parts of the in and out down. Unfortunately, the triple bar normally jump very, very well indeed. But again, what designers are doing with them these days is they're so closely relating the triple bar to the fence after that we see them go a lot more than your old school trainer would probably suggest. There's 6 seconds just from the Washington International Horse Show double. Cormac and COPAIN turn to the final line. They're probably about 2 seconds down on the lead in terms of clock time as well. Brian Goutal-Marteau will remain our leader on 54.17. It's 55.29 with 6 to add for Cormac Hanley, 61.29.
This lady rider, just 20 years of age, she's on the winning team for the USA, and the young rider, Nations Cup finals, the under-21 riders, that was over in Europe just a few weeks ago. She's part of young rider bronze medalist here in the US as well, and winner of both classes. Super to have this young talent.
Natalie Dean and Sitazi are our next to go. Natalie, who was inside the top 5 last night in the accumulator class with this horse. Natalie was an individual bronze medalist at this year's North American Youth Championships and went on the US Young Rider, the under-21 team, to win the FEI Jumping Youth Nations Cup finals in Belgium. Unfortunately, the event's DEC fence, number 1, is down. They're carrying 3 seconds to add all the way around this track. Stood back a little bit off that big Longines Oxer, paddled through and took the back rail, so that's their 6 seconds currently added. They are a nippy combination though. Look at this, they're going to be 43, 44 seconds here, which is not far off the pace of our absolute leader, Brian Goutal-Marteau. Does a little bit the same, just takes a long one through that. The horse paddles behind and is going to add 9 seconds in all. Natalie and Sitazi, 64.02, go down into 9th position. We've got 24 starters in this speed championship. 3 have jumped clean with nothing added, and they hold the top 3 spots. Brian Goutal-Marteau, Darragh Kenny and Laura KRAUT out in front. Well, last night, Adrienne STERNLICHT had set a time that nobody could match until Sid Schulman came forward and knocked 1.3 seconds off it. Sidney Schulman and Villamora, her winner from last night's accumulator. Representing Israel, the combination who were top 10 in recent weeks in the Grand Prix at the Pennsylvania National Horse Show. Sid was a Grand Prix winner at Tryon in June. The same Grand Prix she in fact won in 2018, making it back-to-back victories in that particular class at the North Carolina venue. And Villamora resolutely went around sticking his tongue out last night as well in the accumulator. Oh, just saw Villamora suddenly see his eyes being filled by that Washington Nationals fence, but he went for it. Well, the mare that she is, Villamora by Diamante Semei. Over the Mars equestrian, 41, 42 seconds around this bend. This is a very good time. If she can be clear, she'll go into the lead. And will she therefore be unbeatable the rest of the class? Look at this, 50.84 seconds for Sidney Schulman. There's really only two classes in the speed tour here at Washington, last night's accumulator and this jumper speed final. And she has a very, very good chance of taking both of them. 50.84 seconds, nothing to add for Sid Schulman. We might be hearing the Israeli anthem again in a few short minutes here at the Washington International Horse Show, presented by Mars Equestrian.
International is the word. We've brought them from all across the world, and 7 across from Europe who are absolute superstars over there. And this man is one of them. He's a European team gold medalist this year.
Team and individual medalist at this year's European Championships, the #1 ranked under 25 rider in the world, Jos Verlooy. Jos with Jenko DW. Rode Jenko last night in the accumulator. He won the welcome stakes with Varon. Jos has won a 5-star Grand Prix. In each of the last 2 years, he won the Nations Cup Grand Prix of the Netherlands in Rotterdam in 2018, and this year he won the 5-star Grand Prix at the Longines Ascona Horse Show in Switzerland. Jos on a 4-week tour over here to the United States and to North America, because he'll complete his tour at the Royal Winter Fair, the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Toronto. He again has the triple bar going in there, so 3 seconds to add. And therefore goes out super wide on his way to the Nationals fence as well, just changes tactic midstream here. His policy for this class, and you know, even with 3 seconds added, we say, with 3 seconds to add, you know, you can still be in the game. But Sid Schulman just so fast and with nothing to add, 50.84. You're really going to be struggling to get into the money here if you've got 3 to add. Jos gets a nice round into this horse. Thinking about World Cup tomorrow. So 65 across the ground, 68.94 with the penalty seconds for Jos Verlooy and Jenko DW.
We go on to USA now, and to maybe way down to New York as well. Riding for the Golden Red Monmouth, this is the antagonist.
Katie DINAN is our next to go. Katie with Dougie Douglas. The Irish sport horse by Douglas out of a high roller mare. Katie was on the podium in World Cup action at the American Gold Cup in Old Salem in upstate New York. A 4-time World Cup finalist. Katie's come very close in the past to winning this Washington qualifier of the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Series. This gives the first a bit of a rattle. Katie, who works with Beat MÄNDLI, former World Cup champion, the Swiss rider, who is a winner of the Washington International Horse Show, taking victory a couple of seasons ago here. And they're in the main just starting to eschew that inside turn. From 5 to 6, we saw the first couple take it, but Brianne Goutal-Marteau, for instance, didn't take it and still holds on to second place. But Sid Schulman, 3.5 seconds faster than Brianne for the lead at the moment with Villamora. So it's clear, 61.52 for Katie DINAN. Goes into 9th place. That's a slow clear for Katie there to be inside the top 10, bested by 4 who are carrying penalties. TYREE, Jordan Coyle, Amanda Derbyshire and Cormac Hanley all in front of her. And our best place is being held by faster clears. Sid Schulman out in front, Brianne Goutel-Marteau in second, Darragh Kenny in third, Laura KRAUT in fourth. Well, a rider we're going to see in the Land Rover Puissance later on tonight, Andy Kocher. Andy with eye candy jumpers, Cat Ninja, a Scirocco Blue mare. Andy, who took a win at the Longines FEI Jumping Nations Cup of the United States of America show, the Palm Beach Masters this spring. One of the individual classes there. He went to the Nations Cup finals 12 months ago for the United States of America in Barcelona. Andy normally one to really watch against the clock. Has he got the legs of this class? 50.84 to beat. He's riding for it for sure. I don't think he has. He needs to be 41, 42 seconds now. He was 41 seconds before he'd even jumped that third from home. He's very close into the Nationals fence, coming on towards home. The time is gone of Sidney Schulman. He's 53.58 though. He drops himself into that wide gap between Sid and Brianne Goutel-Marteau and takes over second place. Well, next to go for Ireland, Shane Sweetnam, leading rider of the show once again this year at the Hampton Classics. Shane, who was the podium finisher this year at the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of London. Jumped throughout that Global Champions Series. Many times a championship rider and recently a championship gold medalist for Ireland. Shane rides DELEYN in this jumper speed final. $50,000 class here tonight. Meter 50, the height of the jumps for this first competition. Will be getting bigger though later on this evening as we go into the Land Rover Puissance. Shane is taking all the inside turns that are on offer here. This is a real challenger now to Sid Schulman. DELEYN's just 8 years old, but jumped very well for him last night. Clear across the Mars Equestrian. He hasn't quite got the time to beat Sid Schulman, and the pole goes now at the Land Rover as well. Going to take the last two. It's going to be 6 seconds to add, unfortunately. You've got to be 60.41 and 9th position for Shane Sweetnam. 54.41. The time would have gone into 4th if he'd been clean, just in front of teammate Darragh Kenny. World Cup champion, Washington winner, Olympic medalist, Beard Manley with Grant Road partner SIMBA. So 50.84 is the time to beat. Sydney Schulman and Villamora in the driver's seat of this $50,000 speed final here so far on military night of the Washington International Horse Show, presented by Mars Equestrian. And again, Bert is one of those riders who can normally just be so smooth that he's really moving a lot more than it might suggest. There's not a lot of flapping or hitting and hurrying going on in the way he rides and produces his horses. That's unfortunate. 3 seconds to add there. He's going to clear the taps fence and increase the donation that will be made on behalf of the Washington International Horse Show to that important program. Look at this again, 42 seconds landing over the Mars Equestrian. Our leaders were there, 41, 40 seconds. And, you know, Bert, knowing with the 3 seconds added, he can't really move into the driving seat of this class. 53.55, and I would still suggest that that is a time set pulling up in this round. Bert Mändli will go into fifth with the penalty seconds and pushes the clean round of Laura KRAUT down into sixth. So 53.55 on the clock would have gone into second, just in front of Andy Coker by 0.03 of a second. Whether he necessarily had the 3 or so seconds extra pace that would have put him in front of Sydney Schulman is an academic question now. Bert Mändli into fifth. Well, it's a combination we've seen in the jump-off before now in the World Cup qualifier in New York at Old Salem Farm. Kristen van der Veen and Bull Run's Faustino de T. Kristen, podium last week with Bull Run's Risen in the 5-star Grand Prix at Tryon, North Carolina. Kristen, a career winner on the World Cup circuit of the Live Oak International in Ocala, Florida. 50.84 remains the time to beat. Villamora and Sydney Schulman for Israel, with that leading time in this speed final. Well, once again, that triple bar going into the in and out goes. A total of 6 for Kristen van der Veen quite early on in the round. Means that those on the clean goes, our top 4 in particular, can breathe again. Just over half a dozen to go and challenge Sydney Schulman for a second win of the week. So bringing it home is a Table C format. There isn't a close-in time allowed for them to worry about in terms of penalties. So it is the 6 added. 71.32 overall for Kristen van der Veen and Bull Run's Faustino de T.
This 97 knows how to take a gamble every class. It's the last big winner in Las Vegas with the Sweet Ventures LLC's driver of QUINTA 106. We wish the best of luck. Let's get another big cash added to the bag. It is good luck for the USA's Peter Lutz.
Well, next up, Peter Lutz with Sweet Ventures QUINTA, into 106 by Kidam de Revel. Peter, who's been podium in recent years at Split Rock in Ohio on Longines FEI Jumping World Cup action, and a career winner also of the World Cup in Las Vegas. World Cup in Las Vegas coming up in 2 or 3 weeks' time. One of the few to take the Delta fence down. Our partner airline sponsoring the second on course. That gives them an early 3 to add. So just that 3 to add, 64.03, a pretty steady round overall for Peter Lutz and QUINTA. But of course that early rail would give him the hint that he wasn't going to be really able to challenge Sid Schulman. Not only very fast, but adding nothing to it as well. Really leaves no margin for anyone to get in front who has a rail in this speed final. So Peter Lutz 15th as things currently stand. Next to go, Erynn Ballard. Erynn, as well as representing Canada at last year's World Championships, travelled down to Lima, Peru to represent them at this summer's Pan American Games. She was on the podium in 2018 in the 5-star indoor Grand Prix of the Longines New York Masters. Tonight, the Canadian Championship rider Erynn rides Elite Chin de SAULIEU. 50.84 to beat for sure. They've got to take every inside turn. That's the first major one. She's going to go outside. This is what Brianne Goutel-Marteau did, trying to keep up the pace. I'm not sure you can catch Sydney Schulman doing that, but she might be able to catch Brianne, might be able to catch Andy Coker. Over the Longines World Cup fence, back up to the top of the ring. Another length of the ring to go. She's down on time. 43 or so seconds landing over that Mars equestrian fence. 50.84 it was to beat. 53.58 in second. 54.74 is her time. And it's 3 to add. 57.74. Goes into 8th. The time of 54.74 would have gone into 5th without the rail. Australian Championship rider, 5-star Grand Prix winner here in the United States since he moved here a couple of years ago, Rowan Willis. Rowan with Evers. Rowan has already been on the World Cup trail at both Langley, British Columbia, at the Thunderbird Show Park, and in Columbus, Ohio at Split Rock. He was the runner-up in the Masters Grand Prix at Spruce Meadows this year. The opportunity to relocate to the United States after a long time in Britain and Europe at the beginning of 2018 to go towards those World Games. Another one clearing the taps jump. he's still just a little bit down. Sid Schulman was just so fast. How brave can he be down this final line, though? 50.84 to beat. It's already gone. 53.58 is in second. He goes into second. He just pushes Andy Coker down a place. Evers W and Rowan Willis become the best challenger to Sid Schulman in a little while, but not quite fast enough. Skylar Riley is our next to go. Skylar just reminding herself of the course here and her lines and her tactics with very chic du tillard. 5 challengers remaining to Sydney Schulman, all for the United States of America. Skylar we've seen already on the tour this year at Gold Cup and at Split Rock in Columbus, Ohio. Podium finisher in the Grand Prix at Upperville this year, and she's going to take the first fence with her for 3 seconds to add. Yeah, I don't think she's going to go too much further, having had the first 2 down on course in the Speed Championships of Skylar Riley and very chic du tillard electing to retire. Devin Ryan takes his turn now with Cooper. Devin, always a very, very fast man. Luck hasn't been on his side too much yet this week here in Washington. Is tonight the night it turns? Gold medalist with the US team at last year's World Championships, a career winner of the American Gold Cup, and a podium finisher 2 years ago at the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Finals. So Devin can't potentially challenge. Very hard to imagine he'll be able to get around 3 seconds faster than Sid Schulman to make up for that pole in the in and out. .54.05 with 6 to add, 60.05, 12th position just outside the top 10 with 3 to go for Devin Ryan and Cooper. Well, over we go to Harden Towell with Ann Thompson's CARLO. Harden, twice a World Cup finalist for the United States of America. Had a podium in one of the early classes in the week at the Hampton Classic this year. Was the runner-up in a good 5-star Grand Prix this summer with Jolly Jumper, which will be, if memory serves, his ride for this evening's Land Rover Puissance here at Washington. He's so far to the right of the Delta fence, he had to swing out and around the Washington Nationals fence to get to the third. Ooh. Wrong going in for sure, but I mean, 9 times out of 10 that would have just corrected itself and they popped out over that vertical, but as it was, the horse just not jumping well. 6 penalties early on in the round, and again, Harden knows that is going to keep him too far off the pace to really justify carrying on. So he calls it a day. Harden, Towell and CARLO retire, meaning that Sidney Schulman, Rowan Willis, Andy Coker, Brianne, Gutel, Marteau, Darragh Kenny are our top 5, all on clean goes. Well, a career winner of the President's Cup, the World Cup qualifier and Grand Prix of the show, and a 5-time winner of the Puissance. He's won 3 in a row, the last 3 years running as well. Aaron Vale, Erynn with Don Stewart and Sleepy P Ranches Major are the challengers now to Sidney Schulman, the penultimate rider to start in today's speed final. Well, carrying the 3 seconds to add down on the clock anyway, 44 or so seconds landing over the Mars equestrian fence for Erynn. So Sidney Schulman might be about to make it 2 international victories, 1 each night of the show. Will safely put her up as leading rider, leading international rider, leading lady rider of the show. She would lead all of those standings.
Absolutely, they just don't want to take off points. Very fast on the delivery, this pair together. She was also part of that gold medal winning team in the World Championships last year. She's won class after class, a fantastic combination. She won the New York Masters earlier on this year, based up in Old Salem in New York. Last to go, she flew out last night in the speed class then. Can she save the best in the very, very finish? With the Starlight Farms, Fantast, USA's Adrienne Sternlicht.
So the last chance, one of those who was close to Sidney Schulman on the leaderboard last night, Adrienne Sternlicht. Adrienne and Fantast, they were the runners-up in the accumulator class to Sid and Villamora. Can they turn the tables tonight? Starlight Farms, Fantast by Toulon. Final rider for the class and for the United States of America here. They are jumping out of their skin to try and catch this time of Sidney Schulman. Oh, well done, Fantast. So doesn't get that inside turn. And of course, they've had those hesitations, those moments when it's will we, won't we in front of the jumps. That'll cost them fractions of seconds. They're deep down here. into the in-gate, turning back to the Longines fence. 41, 42 seconds, it's gone, and so has the fence. Time-wise, it's gone. Now with the penalties, it's really gone. 6 seconds added up that line over the Land Rover, but it's going to be a double win this week at Washington for Sid Schulman as Adrienne Sternlicht comes home. 57.98 on the clock, 6 to add, 63.98 for Adrienne Sternlicht as our last to go in the $50,000 International Jumper Speed Final. So Sydney Schulman is our winner ahead of Brianne Goutel-Marteau. Darragh Kenny, Laura KRAUT, Kat TYREE make up our top 5. Jordan Coyle just outside with SNR Crixus. So just going to confirm, because I think we had an error with those graphics that came up. Sydney Schulman wins. Rowan Willis in second, Andy Coker, Brianne Goutel-Marteau, Darragh Kenny, Beat MÄNDLI, Laura KRAUT, Kat TYREE, KATUNGEE, Erynn, BALLARD. So a win for Sydney Schulman, a podium made up of Rowan Willis for Australia, Andy Coker for the United States of America, with Brianne Goutel-Marteau in 4th, Darragh Kenny in 5th, Beat MÄNDLI, the highest ranked rider carrying penalties, in 6th, Laura KRAUT 7th, Kat TYREE 8th with KATUNGEE, Erynn Ballard inside the top 10, taking 9th with Lee Chin de SAULIEU for Canada, and Aaron Vale and Major 10th in this class, but will they be winners later on of the Land Rover Puissance? That's our next international class coming up today from Washington. Watch on the Washington website. You'll be able to see all of the entertainment between classes, including our Armed Forces Challenge barrel racing competition to come up. And then at 25 minutes past 9, we are scheduled to start jumping in the Land Rover Puissance for 2019. Stay with us as Military Night continues from the 61st Washington International Horse Show, presented by Mars Equestrian.
Sergeant General Jesse Tubb, Master Sergeant General Jesse Tubb, joining us as well to make our presentation as our riders get organized here for the prize giving coming up